President Donald Trump has, as expected, pleaded not guilty to 37 charges brought against him and presented against him in the federal court in Miami on Tuesday. And these charges were presented in a court whose sitting was presided over by Magistrate Jonathan Goodman. He will not be the trial judge, and that will be Eileen Cannon, a judge who has favored Trump in earlier rulings. That is a matter for trial. The date for trial has not been set, but that trial will last 21 days whenever it does take place, and the expectations are that that date will be set for later in the year or possibly even early next year, and that would then coincide quite potently with the Republican Party nomination elections, where Trump is the front runner. These were serious charges that were presented relating to removal of defense secrets, keeping them concealed, obstruction of justice, and making false statements. The removal and the possession of these could carry a 10-year sentence. Obstruction of justice and concealment could carry a 20-year sentence. The false statements could attract a 5-year sentence. So a lot of punishment, if at all this were to lead to a guilty verdict at the end of the trial. Through this hearing, Trump was arrested, but that was a procedural arrest, a polite sort of affair, paperwork really, nothing by way of handcuffing or nothing by way of physical detention. He certainly was fingerprinted, but then he was allowed to leave court at the end of the hearing, and that lasted only a few minutes. Following that, there was no bail condition set upon his departure. He was considered not a flight risk. This was in form and in the manner of presentation and arrest quite similar to the arrest in the New York court earlier this year. He was again just presented in court without any formal handcuffing, but of course the charges are far more serious in this instance. In the New York case, that was a state affair, and the charges followed a liaison with the colorful porn star Stormy Daniels. The charges did not relate to the liaison, but to accounting matters over payment to her, and the prosecution case was that these were fraudulent and not transparent. Here the charges are very much more serious. As the indictment goes, Trump took away top secret documents from the White House when he ceased to be president, and he stored them at his home and club at Mar-a-Lago in Florida. He took these without permission. It would have been possible to seek permission to remove them, but that is not something that he ever sought, and the removal was therefore considered illegal. Not only did Trump take them, he showed them off to at least 4 visitors on one occasion, a publisher, a writer, and 2 of his own staff, none of whom had security clearance. Trump is reported to have and recorded to have showed them off, saying that these are secret attack documents and pointing to these as something secret that could turn out to be significant self-damning evidence. Some of these documents, according to the indictment, were kept on the stage in the ballroom at the Mar-a-Lago facility, and over the space of a year about 150 events took place at the facility that were attended by more than 10,000 people, and these top secret documents were sitting there on the stage for a long period. At some stage they were moved, according to the indictment, to another room and then on to a storeroom, to which there was easy access without a locked door, even from the swimming pool at the center. At some stage, some of these documents spilled out of their boxes and were lying on the floor, and anyone could have seen these, and these included, again according to the indictment, at least one document that had critical information about the US and its allies and options for defense preparation in the event of an attack. These are the kind of documents that have been marked top secret, but according to the indictment were kept in conditions such as these. The critical question now will be when the trial will take place, and of course what the verdict will be, and in parallel really what a lot of Republican Party members will think of all this when they decide whether or not they want to vote to nominate Trump to lead their party in the next election.